And now it's blind time. All right, wait. Ooh, just one floating head now. Oh God, the red doesn't help. Yeah, we don't need to see anything anyway. There you go.
Like how calm now.
Yeah. Whew. Aloha. How's it? Good evening, everybody. Did I do this correctly? No, I didn't. Hold on. Oh, wrong one.
No, that's not rain.
Huh?
No rain.
No rain, because my daughter took the tent out too.
I have an
Hey,
umbrella
Joy.
just in case.
That's not rain.
Hey, Joy. How's it? Hey, everybody. How's it? Oh, Joy. You can. Yeah, you know I get. No worry. I forgot. I think I forgot to share them to the group. Hey, Brenda. Sandy. How's it? Uilani. How's it? How's it? Let's see here. I feel refreshed. Took a night off. Hey, cool Makis. Hey, Aussie Tiger. How's it? How's it? Share two. Oh, mine don't take us. There we go. Whew. Okay. So, beautiful full moon tonight. Super moon, hunter's moon, and some other kind of names probably. Keith, how's it? How's it? Yeah. So I was thinking what kind of stories to share tonight. I wanted to do other ones, but nah. I figured tonight will be a good kind of set the theme. Right, that's kind of what you do with the full moon. Yeah, aloha cricket. How's it? Troy, how's it? Yeah, you kind of set the theme, set your intentions, and all that other witchy stuff, right? With the full moon, or people interpret that as that. But this one actually was a lot bigger. It was my family has felt my sister around a lot during this super moon. Yeah. Hey Noreen. Hey Caliente. How's it? Hey Matt. How's it? So yeah, we figure I'll do some good stories tonight. Not really the quite scary evil, but I mean these stories can be a little scary, but then they have a better kind of point to it. You know, um, one of the guardians, if not the guardian that I called upon, Michael the Archangel. Whenever we need help, whenever we need protection, that kind of stuff. Um, there has been some comments that have been brought up to me by friends and family and other people who I respect. And so I'll address those here too, yeah? Hey, Lorraine, how's it? Caliente, how's it? Hey, everybody. Was the worry was that the prayer to Michael the Archangel is not to God. You're not praying to God, you're praying to one of his angels. And wasn't Lucifer another one of the archangels, right? And so there was a whole conflict with that. I mean, I feel safe doing it because it's a Catholic canon prayer, right? Roman Catholic, the St. Michael the Archangel prayer. Hey, Annette, how's it? And so I figure it's good. You know, it's sanctioned by the Catholic Church. You can't be bad to do, right? And so I always try to include God as well. I ask Michael to protect us, but I kind of see him like sometimes like maybe they represent different aspects, right? Cheryl, Neil, how's it? Like, to me, if I pray to Jesus, it's not Jesus. Can you come down here and beat some fools okole? You know what I mean? It's more when I pray to Jesus, it's more for thanks and compassion and that kind of stuff. When it comes to protection, I feel better praying to the one who's depicted with a sword and the one that banished Satan from heaven and cast him into hell because he could beat the devil. I want this guy on my side, right? And it was a little bit weird how like I used to not call upon him just because I'm thinking to myself, I'm the dummy that's putting myself out here in the first place, right? I'm the one that's out here in the pitch black with all the ghosts. why am I going to go ahead and call upon the Archangel help to help me when I'm making a bad choice? When there are millions of other people who need his help. Hey Lorna, how's it? One night we was cruising with Obake, me, Obake, his roommate Jen, the psychic, and a bunch of us. And Jen was like saying, "Oh, they're all in the car." Hey Scott, how's it? Um, Jen was saying, "Oh, they're all in the car," and I'm like, "Who's in the car?" She's like, "Oh, all the guardians are in the car." She's like, "You got Kainoa here. Kainoa is the Hawaiian warrior that protects us from the pali that scared the pants off of me when I met him." He's really kolohe. He really likes to laugh. But then she also said that Michael was in the car with us, the Archangel. And I'm like, the Archangel? She's like, yeah. And Raphael is with us as well. And Gabriel is with us as well. And I'm like, shouldn't they be doing other things right now? you know, rather than just cruising in the car? And she goes down and she starts describing them. Like whenever one of them would speak up, she'd start laughing and she'd tell us this comment, Saint Michael was always the serious one. Michael was always the serious one who just kind of was just cruising, but never really said anything. We all get that friend. He always just cruises in the corner and just doesn't see anything, but enjoys the companionship. Then we have Raphael, who would always crack jokes and that kind of stuff, right? So it was interesting, and I asked Jen, I'm like, why are they with us and not other places? And she just laughed. She's like, Joe, you don't understand. I'm like, you're right. I don't understand. She's like, the archangels are not people. They don't take up three-dimensional space. They can be everywhere at once. And they are everywhere at once. They could be helping a million people out at the same exact time. And I'm like, oh. She said, yeah, Michael the archangel has she said he has like a legion of warriors that are also Michael the archangel. And so for me, I don't feel bad calling upon him for help. Remember, your guardians are always there, and but they're not going to do anything because of your free will until you ask them, right? Hey Raymond, how's it? Suzette, how's it? Joy says Michael's prayers help me on more than one occasion when we are out or I feel uneasy. Yeah, exactly. Hey Ben, how's it? Did I see Phoebe pop in? Hey Phoebe. So yeah, yeah, exactly. You call upon him when you need help, and I had to learn as well. I'm over there and I'm praying to Michael the Archangel, and I'm like, kind of, hey, hey, Michael, can you help us? Hey, we kind of need help now. You can come protect us. Like that, like asking him very humbly and like shyly and embarrassed. But I'm told you gotta tell him what to do. You gotta kind of command him, right? Raisha, how's it? How's it? And so I guess one of the examples is one of my more recent stories of that, right? I was at my house. If you guys heard some of the stories about my house, we get one Hawaiian chief buried under our house. He's our guardian, so he protects us. My next door neighbor, she is a medium. She don't live there no more though, but her mom does. She was a medium. I grew up with her, and we used to go ghost hunting together. And she would tell me that when I would come home doing the ghost tours, I would bring home a lot of stuff. But because of the chief, and we made pono with the chief, all that stuff, all those spirits could not even enter my driveway. They had to stand on the sidewalk. They couldn't enter my driveway because the chief wouldn't let them. However, they would enter her house and they would cause her havoc. But yeah, my son graduated 4 years ago. He's graduating college this coming fall, spring. And so when he had a grad party, a whole bunch of us came down, a whole bunch of my family from the mainland came down for the party and all of that. And we were all just hanging out, drinking, eating, in the front yard, big barbecue kind of. And it got dark. We were hanging out till it got dark. We were still out there. I bust out my lights, put them on the tent. Everybody's good. And then my daughter comes up to me and she's like, Dad, I hear somebody calling my name. Brad, how's it? She's like, Dad, I hear somebody calling my name. And I'm like, oh, like a person? She's like, no, it's a woman. And it's at the edge of our driveway. And it's telling me to come. Hey, James, how's it? So she tells me this woman is at the edge of the driveway, which already triggers to me that it's not something good. If the chief is not letting it in the driveway, it has no business talking to my daughter, right? Hey, Janine, how's it? And like my cousin was there too from the mainland, and he was kind of like, "Oh, what's going on?" My daughter's clairaudient, so she can hear them. Yeah. Um, he's like, "Oh, what's going on over here? You know, what's happening over here?" And she fills him in. And he's like, "Oh, wow, for real." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's go." She's like, "It just keeps calling me, Dad. It tells me I need to come over to the edge of the driveway." And I'm like, "I don't really want you to do that." She's like, "I don't really want to do that either." So I was a dad. I walked over to the edge of the driveway, and I'm like, "Okay, you got me now. What do you want?" You know, and I'm kind of pissed off, and I'm like, "Bro, what do you want? I'm right here." And Makamai's like, "She's laughing at you, Dad. She doesn't want to talk to you. She wants to talk to me." And I'm like, "No, you're not talking to my daughter. Get out of here." And she's like, "It's not leaving, Dad. It's laughing." And so I went down, I said the Michael the Archangel prayer, and I commanded Michael to take this thing away. My daughter looks at me and she's like, "It's still there, Dad. It's still there." And I'm like, "What? You got, I just commanded Michael to take him away, and Michael didn't take him away, right?" And I'm like, "What the heck?" And then it kind of dawned on me, huh, there's a reason why, right? This wasn't my Kuliana. This was my daughter's test, right? So I looked at her and I realized, I'm like, "No, you're the one that's got to ask Michael. You're the one that needs to ask Michael the Archangel to get rid of him." And so she did. And she looked at me and she's like, "Well, she's gone now, Dad." I'm like, "Right on, you know." But she got rid of him. But it's stuff like that. Like things like that happen, and sometimes your faith can be a little shaken. Like, "Bro, when call you for help and he wasn't here, you know, if he's not there, he's still there. But there's a reason why he's not intervening." That's happened on a few cases, which I'll get into a little bit later this month. Free will and all that, right? I cannot banish your demons from you indefinitely. You have to be able to do that. People call me for a blessing. It's like, bruh, I cannot do them for you. I can help you, but you're the one that got to do them yourself, right? Um, that picture I showed you guys earlier this month too. Let me know if you guys like to see them. I can see if I can bring them back up. The one at Paradise Park with that thing in the bush, right, or right next to the car. I was sharing that. You know, let me just show you guys that picture. It's kind of scary though. If you don't like to see them, I'll tell you when to turn your lights, turn your or look away. This picture gets so much energy. And yes, I have them saved to favorites so I can find them again. This one. I showed this picture. This was, I think it was around summertime 2014. And then my friend Guy, who we're going to meet tomorrow, Guy rented out a church. Not like a church classroom, just because it was more convenient, right by where he lives. So he rented out a church classroom where we could have one Hawaiian hunting potluck, get together, talk, tell ghost stories, you know. And so I did a lot of the storytelling. I got up there in front of the class, and I brought my monitor, my laptop, and I put that picture on the laptop behind me on the monitor, and I told the story about it. And as I was done going over the story, it was like, okay, you know, now we go eat now. You know, time to eat. And then when we're eating, cruising around, hanging out, Uncle Ruben came up to me and told me that when I was telling the story, that face showed up behind me, peeked out of the closet. Like the closet door opened up and that face peeked out of the closet and was looking at me. Um, and then my other friend told me the same thing, and my other friend told me the same thing. But two of them told me that when this thing appeared, something strange happened to me. They said when this thing appeared, I didn't even realize anything was going on. Obviously, right? I'm telling the story and all of that. They said my energy shifted. My eyes turned golden and started glowing. And I'm like, what? You're like, dude, your eyes started glowing with a golden color. And I'm like, brah, that's so, what? That's so weird. I'm like, what does that mean? And one of my friends said, that's Michael the Archangel. You're channeling him. I'm like, oh man, that's cool. He was, because I guess I'm a protector, right? I protect everybody in the group. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. But like, to have that? I had a case over Pearl City Peninsula where I had to go bless a house that was blessed improperly previously to me. Some guys went in and blessed the house and ended up not blessing the house, but causing a little bit more chaos. Um, so it was a young military couple, and we talked story with them a little bit. And just that day, I think the roommate was kind of going a little nuts. It was so in the house. It was her husband, and the roommate. The roommate was her best friend. And I wasn't about to go bless the house. I wanted to see what was going on. They told me that they had demonic activity going on in the house, smelling of rotting flesh, sulfur, things happening in threes, all of that stuff, right? So it's those are signs that point to be a demonic case. And I'm kind of like, okay, let's get ready. Jello was there with me. Jello was standing by in case we needed to bless the house, and I ended up not blessing it because I didn't want to make things worse. Yeah, I don't know what it is, so I got up. We just did a little walk through of the house, and I got upstairs, and I'm standing in the master bedroom talking story with the couple, and Jello, and Jello looks at me and he's like, "Brah," I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Brah, your eyes, they look like they're golden right now." I'm like, "What?" And then the girl's like, "Yeah, yeah, your eyes look golden right now." I'm like, she's like, "Are they hazel?" I'm like, "No, they brown." She's like, and I'm just standing in the room, and then I found out like the roommate was across the hall from the master bedroom. So my bubble that goes out about 10 feet or so, whatever, that the roommate was in my bubble in her room. It did that. And so they tried to get her out because I gave them a blessing down at the water's edge by Pearl Harbor, and they wanted the roommate, the friend, to get a blessing too. And she had barricaded herself in the house. She was like screaming, hissing, all of that stuff. She would not leave the room for anything. Right? I think it was while we were down at the beach. She actually jumped out of the window and ran on the second floor. She jumped out the window, jumped off, and she ran somewhere, and they don't know where she went, as far as I know. As far as I know, I think she was possessed a little bit by something, because even the friends was like, she wasn't acting like herself ever since those guys came over. So I said, if she comes back and she wants a blessing, let me know. If you think she needs a blessing, let me know. We'll go ahead and do that. I can call a priest. Jello had his whole. He was studying to become a deacon. Yeah, so he had all of his the robes and everything, and it was cool. It was cool seeing all of that stuff. And he's ready to roll. He's ready to rock and roll. He's like, okay, I got my cross. I'm all ready to go. I got the incense thing. Just give me the word, Joe. So that was another time where I guess it just triggered. I wasn't even really conscious of it. I'll share a story with you now about Hawaii State Hospital. This one was interesting, right? So I worked at Hawaii State Hospital for about a year to 2 years, perhaps. Overnights, 11 to 7, I think it was. Yeah, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And one of the very first guys I saw, I cannot say too much about him. Hey, how's it?
I think there's a spotting over here.
Ah, bye-bye. Hey.
I thought only Friday you guys come this way.
Usually, hey,
Yeah.
you know one guy, Shaka.
Yeah.
Where do you stay now?
Stay in Makiki.
Makiki, he
Yeah,
gets the
you're
house.
trying to get one paid.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right.
God, yeah.
Hey, you get his number or what?
No, I know.
No more.
Yeah, I know more.
Okay, yeah, he used to always come over and hang out with us.
Yeah. He still always tell me about you guys.
Yeah.
He
What's your
always
name, brother?
stick you in food. Donnie.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Joe, bro.
Right on, bro.
Yeah.
How's it?
Sorry, get the light all in there.
No, sorry. Yeah, long cause.
Yeah.
Good night. I
Right
heard
on,
the
yeah.
sunlight coming down. I wasn't sure, so.
No, sorry.
No,
I'll
no,
go to see
yeah.
you guys both. So you guys
Yeah.
can, you guys can
Okay, brother.
right on. Yeah, I thought it was just party over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot.
All right,
Good one,
brother.
bro. Be safe.
Hello.
Potted, he wasn't invited.
Always invited, bro.
Yeah.
Yep, we try to. Yep. Just telling ghost stories, but the tree's talking tonight, huh? Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, guarantee, bro, guarantee. Anytime you see us here, come down, hang out, bro. Yeah. Hey, Carolyn, how's it? Oh, I like to hear about that Salem, so I get distracted over here. I'm glad. So Shaka did get the house. Yeah, that makes me happy. Huh?
Just now, I was watching that light come down.
Oh yeah,
I was standing up.
I looked in here and I'm like, oh, get one light behind me.
I thought it was. I wasn't sure if it was that reflecting off your window or that was actually a light. So that's why I stood up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give him a high beam, but I seen him turn up his light. So, okay.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Protect his back a little bit.
So that's good, everybody. Shaka's doing good. He get one place and everything. So right on. Yeah, congrats, Shaka. Corey, how's it, brother? Happy belated birthday again. Yeah. Hey, Tunui, how's it? Okay, back to the story. I don't know if you guys can hear the trees creaking tonight. We got out, the trees started creaking.
They don't stop.
Huh?
And it won't stop.
Yeah, it won't stop. Yeah, there you go. I get the impression that, because like there was
Yeah.
no wind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, now they're
Somebody's
like,
just sitting down there and they're like swinging their legs and just kind of listening to the
Yep,
stories.
like, how's it?
Yeah, like I'm not nervous about it, but
No.
yeah, it feels good.
It feels good. It feels like they over there just going, hey, just like letting us know that they're there. They're like, all right, hurry up, finish the story.
Yeah, you heard that.
What that?
They answered when you said, hurry up, finish the story.
Right. So I used to work Hawaii State Hospital. Yeah, Hawaii State Hospital is yeah, it's something else, I'll tell you. Yeah. Jubu, how's it? So we were working I was working Hawaii State Hospital nighttime. One of the first patients that I had was in the I forget what it's called. I get one awesome swinging from tree to tree. No, it's okay. Yeah, red roof. The ward where the people were older, dementia patients, cannot walk. I forget what it's called. I get one word. I'll think of it later. But I had this. It taught me a lot. This job. I loved it. I got many opportunities to sit down and think past the whole people crazy, they crazy, and just leave it at that, right? So like I had this old guy. He was about 75, 74 at the time, about the same age as my dad. This old Hawaiian guy, and he couldn't walk very good, yeah, or like hardly at all. And the charge nurse was like, okay, well, I'm assigning you to this guy tonight, and good luck with him because he is a pain in the butt. And I'm like, oh, lovely, first night, and I get one of these guys already. And so, yeah, whatever. So I go over there. My job is to sit down at the door and watch them sleep, yeah. Make sure that they're not hurting themselves or anybody else. And, for him, I had to make sure he don't try walk because he forget, yeah. Hey, Brandon, how's it? Geriatric ward. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah. I had to make sure brother didn't try walk because he couldn't walk. He would always fall down and he might break his hip or break his leg, like that, right? So I had to sit down and watch him all night to make sure he didn't try. And he'd wake up and try to walk, and and I would go over there. I'd tell, hey, uncle, you gotta go lie down, and he'd get a little upset. I'm like, uncle, lie down. It's not time to get up yet. And he's like, oh, okay. And then when he goes sleep, I noticed like what would get him awake was kicking his feet. Yeah. Lord knows. He'd kick his feet, and he'd toss and turn, and the blanket would come off. And if you ever been in Hawaii State Hospital, it's like 50 degrees in there, yeah? It's freezing cold. And so I would go over there and cover him up because I realized that he would wake up because he was cold and he'd want to walk around because he was cold. So I go throw a blanket on top of him, and then he would turn over and kick, and I'd just come back, put him on top of him again, and he would kick it off, and he'd put it back on top of him, put his socks on top of his feet, double socks, double blanket, and then he slept through the night. In the morning, he was like, just like, very happy. He was like, oh, hey, boy, thanks, for last night. Thanks, for helping me out. You know, hey, you took care of me, bro. I appreciate it. Thanks, I'm like, oh, hey, uncle, no worry. You look cold. He's like, yeah, it was freezing. So he really appreciated it. And ever since then, me and him had a good relationship. He always was my friend. He was always a cool guy, right? He's like, he'd always come up and, tell me hi and shake my hand and that kind of stuff whenever I wasn't assigned to him. But um, a few years later, oh, actually about a year later, so right before COVID came, I had him again, and this was at a different ward. This was at the one where all the trouble people go. Basically, the staff are a lot bigger because they have problems on a daily basis. And this guy was so violent that they had to have 2 or 3 people assigned to him around the clock. He would try to hurt people, he would try to spit on you, he would try to kick you, and he would try to hurt himself and all of that, right? And so at the end of that, when he was starting to get a little bit back to normal, they gave him to me. And so I think this was literally the last day I worked there because I wanted to do so much more. So he was in a 1 bedroom, and I'm over there sitting down, the door's closed because he's just screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming all night, yeah. I had to put my chair up against his bed so he wouldn't try to get out, because he tried to get out and he'd be like, I gotta go bathroom. So no idea who I am anymore, right? Just no idea. But that's the nature of mental illness, right? He said, I gotta go bathroom. So I call and I help him to the bathroom, and like he go to the sink, he just washes his face for like 10 minutes. Just keep washing his face. He grabs the soap from the soap dispenser, rubs the soap into his eyeballs, and continues washing his face. And I'm like, uncle, you cannot do that. He just ignored me, continue it. Finally, I get him back in the bed, and this guy was like, I get him back into the bed. He grabs my arm, pulls me towards him, grabs my shirt, and starts ripping it. And I'm just like, whoop, I just slip right out of the shirt. And I'm like, oh, okay, uncle, you like one shirt? I can get you one shirt. I'm standing over there, bare chested, you know what I mean? He's like, he threw him down. And I'm like, I'm trying to get him calmed down the whole, like, the first 2 hours, right? And then finally, I had a break. 15-minute break. One of the other staff comes in, sits down. I go outside, and I'm at my car, and I'm like, I wonder. I'm looking at my car. Right on the dashboard, I have a pendant of St. Michael the Archangel. And so I'm like, I wonder. So I grab the pendant, I put him in my pocket, and I walk back in. The guy was out cold. He was passed out. He was sleeping, and the staff saw me come in, and he's like, shh. He slowly gets up, slowly walks out of the room, slowly closes the door. I'm over there, slowly get into the chair, not like make a noise or like wake him up, right? 5 minutes later, he's back up again. And he's back at it again. Just kicking, screaming, all of that stuff, cussing, swearing, And I'm standing over there trying to talk him down, trying to calm him down, using my voice. Uncle, it's okay, no worry, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. I can make my voice drone on to the point where it passes you till you pass out. Hey, Melody, how's it? And like, it wasn't working. I reached my hand into my pocket, just kind of subconsciously, and I just kind of like, in my pocket and playing with the medallion. And he like recoils. He shoves his himself all the way back of the bed and just stares at me like he's afraid of something, he's just staring at me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Take my hand out of my pocket. He's back to normal again. I put it in my pocket, and he's like all tense. He's like he's ready for a fight or something. And I'm like, like he's scared. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. And I just kind of keep it in my pocket and keep kind of just playing with it in my pocket as he just slowly starts to pass out. In fact, at one point, I even take it out of my pocket. I keep it in my hand. I don't show him what it is. I just close my hand and I keep it held in my hand, and at that point is when he passes out. He falls asleep. He's like, it's like he's fighting to sleep. He's like sitting there and he's like, like that, and then he falls asleep, and I'm like, bro, this is nuts. I put it back in my pocket, and he's sleeping. Then it's time for me to take another break. Come back in, he's still crashed. And this happens again. He wakes up when I come back in. Hey, Jana, how's it? When I come back in a few minutes later, he wakes up and starts doing that, and I reach back into my pocket and bring out the St. Michael's medallion, and then just hold it in my hand again, and he falls asleep. And he keeps fighting and fighting and fighting, and it's like, it's just strange. But it seemed to have less effect and less effect and less effect, because he'd wake up again soon after, and then he'd fall asleep, and then he'd wake up again, and then it'd take him longer to fall asleep, and he'd wake up sooner. And so after my second break, after my third break rather, I took it out of my pocket, I put it in my hand, and I showed it to him. And when I showed it to him, oh, he didn't like that. He didn't even know what it was. And oh, I forgot one thing too. I haven't told this story for probably a year. The whole time this was going on, he kept calling me Michael. And it was like, yeah, Michael, nothing. No, Michael's nothing. No, Michael's weak. No more nothing. No, Michael. And I'm like, bruh, that's not my name. No, Michael. You're Michael. No, Michael. Like that, right? And I'm like, okay. But when I showed it to him, he passed out again. Like almost immediately when I showed it to him, he slumped down, fell asleep, woke up about half an hour later, and he was back to his normal self. He woke up, he smiled at me. He's like, hey, good morning. I'm like, hey, good morning, how are you? He's like, oh, good. I'm like, you sleep well? He's like, I don't think so, but yeah, okay. And then he's like, okay, I'm ready to get up and start my day. I'm like, hey, uncle, you gotta wait. It's only about 5 o'clock right now, 5:30. You gotta wait till 6. Oh, okay. And then he forget, and then he try to get out of the bed again. He's like, no, I like go to the girls' dormitory. I'm like, uncle, you gotta wait. You know, like, cannot, you gotta wait. And he's like, oh, okay. But he just had to be redirected a lot. It was interesting because the pendant, when I showed it to him, it pulled my theory is it pulled the attachment out of him, and it left him with just the mental illness, right? Just pure mental illness, because then there was no attachment after that. There wasn't anything else that was threatened. I even showed him the pendant. He was like, oh, that's nice. Who is that? What is that? And I'm like, oh, that's St. Michael the Archangel. Oh, you mean the one that watches over you? Oh, that's nice. I like see. I showed it to him. He's looking at it, holding it in his hand. Oh, okay. Here you go. Gives it right back to me. I'm like, oh, it was a trip, man. I'm like, I told one of the staff members, I'm like, brah, you wouldn't believe what just happened. I told him what happened. He's like, I thought something was going on in there. But like, I wanted to get another Michael the Archangel pendant and give him the pendant. Have them hang it above his bed when he goes to sleep and stuff like that. See if that makes a difference. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I quit at Hawaii State Hospital because COVID came out, and this was a big mess. Yeah. They told me I gotta stand 6 inches away from the guy who has COVID. I'm like, no, not for 8 hours, thank you. Hey, Matthew, how's it? Yeah, Brad, Michael is the best. I do have another story. I got a bunch of them, but I'm kind of saving them for the end, the more scarier ones, for next week, perhaps. Yeah. Those are more about the cases and stuff, and yeah. Every case I do, he's played a part in it, you know. Whenever I go to help people with whatever, yeah. Hey, Matthew, mahalo for the stars. So, I got a good friend of mine, Adam. He lives in Wisconsin. And we met playing World of Warcraft, like, a long time ago. And we've been good friends ever since, you know. He's a really interesting character. For being in the mainland, right on, Jana. Can't wait for you to come down here. And I hope Jana will be a guest on our show too. You can talk story with her. Um, Even though he's from the mainland, he still really believed in ghosts and spirits and that kind of stuff. He had a gift. He has a gift. His gift is two part. Number one, he has a photographic memory. So even in his dreams, he has a photographic memory. He can tell you, in my dream, we drove for 4 hours. He's like, and I could tell you every turn we did and all the signs that all like we saw McDonald's on the left 3 miles in and we turned left over there, like that. And he can lucid dream as well, where he knows he's dreaming. Mainland got shadow people. Oh, got plenty of stuff over there. I'm so sorry. I'm so bummed out Bobby Mackey's got torn down, but we'll get into that a little later. So he could lucid dream, which means he knows that he's dreaming, and he can remember all of his dreams. And so he called me up one day and he's like, Joe, I'm having really weird dreams. And there's a girl in my dreams. And this was right after I had a... Hey, thanks for the start, Sandy. Mahalo. This was right after I dealt with a really intense case regarding a succubus. A demon that, yeah, makes you fall in love with her, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And so he tells me that there's a woman in his dreams. And he's finding himself attracted to her. And he's like, I'm married, Joe. And I'm like, really? She's in more than one dream? He's like, dude, she's always in my dream. He tells me she has like brownish red hair. She's probably in her early 30s. She's wearing like a burgundy dress, Victorian era style, and she has these black shoes on. Not high heels, but just like black shoes. And like he goes on Amazon and sends me pictures of what her dress looks like and her shoes, like that kind of detail. He's like, she's there all the time. I'm like, well, what is she doing? He's like, well, like last night I had a dream where I was fighting a bunch of zombies. You got dreams like that, right? He has a dream where he's fighting a whole bunch of zombies and stuff, and they're overwhelming him. And she jumps off of the roof. And, oh, thank you for the stars. Janine, Cheryl, mahalo. Oh, what the hell? Sorry. I have glasses on. I've never seen that before. Oh, that kind of scared me. Oh, that's cool. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Where was I? See myself with star glasses on. That's the first time I've seen that. That startled me. Sorry.
Fighting zombies.
Oh yeah, he's fighting zombies. Thank you. And she jumps off the roof with a sword and starts fighting alongside of him. And with him and her together, they battle through the zombies. And then he wakes up. And I'm like, okay. He's like, in all of my dreams, she's helping me. I'm like, does she say anything? He's like, no, she doesn't say anything. But she's always there. And she's always just at my side. And she's always doing something good to help me. And I've told him, well, okay, let's go ahead. No, it's all good, thank you. Like, let's go ahead and troubleshoot here. Let's, I want you to say the St. Michael the Archangel prayer before you go to bed tonight. And see what happens. And so the next day he calls me up. He's like, well, she was in my dream again. Same thing, Joe. And I'm like, but you prayed to St. Michael. Thank you, Jenny, for the stars. I saw pig ears pop up. Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh no. Sorry, thank you.
Just losing his mind.
Huh?
Just losing his mind.
I think I'm losing my mind here. I'm like, I had pig ears on a pig nose for a second there. Okay. I'm gonna try to be quiet and see if they start making noise again, because they've been quiet for a while, yeah? Copy listening. Hey, Desiree, how's it? Okay, I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. I mean, I know I can do that, but I no, not on YouTube. Sorry. Whoop. Sorry, not yet. Anyway, Jessica, how's it? Aristocat, how's it? Okay, guys, we gotta go back here. We gotta go back on that. So he says the Saint Michael the Archangel prayer, goes to sleep. And the next morning, I call him, or he calls me, and he told me she's still in the dream, and she could still, she's still there, and it's no different. And I'm like, that's weird. And I'm trying to think, like, my gut is telling me it's bad, but she hasn't done anything bad. All right? Yeah, small kind. We had the trees talking for a while since we got here. That's about the only activity we got tonight so far, Desiree. So the I'm not gonna read the comments right now. I'm gonna finish the story. And so I'm like wanting to. I'm thinking in my head, this is a succubus. We need to be careful, you know. But she's not doing anything bad. She's not doing anything wrong. It's like, what the heck? And so I'm like, okay. And I go ask him again. You have lucid dreams, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right. So next time you dream of her, I want you to pray. I want you to pray. I want you to read from the Bible, something like that, in your dream. So a couple of days later, he calls me back and tells me, okay, she was in my dream again. And so I knelt down and I started praying and I started reading from the Bible. And I'm like, okay, what did she do? He said, she came up and knelt next to me. She looked at the Bible for about 3 seconds and stood up and walked away. And I'm like, okay, that's something there. That's something else. It's it's a good sign because I've come across demonic entities before that can pretend that they're Christian and Catholic, but they can't stand it for more than like 10 seconds. You know, they have to walk away because they can't. What was that?
The same thing that's been fucking talking to us the whole time.
That sounded like a girl.
Something I heard something talking.
I was like,
Maybe
huh?
it was something
Yeah.
giggling.
Yeah.
I heard dogs barking.
You heard dogs barking.
2 times a week.
Oh, okay. So I go in to look and I ask him what's going on, and he says, right across the street from, we're looking more at like the realistic stuff here. He said he saw her one night standing across the street from his house. Across the street from his house was the Bellois Manor, or the Manor Bellois, Beloit, in Wisconsin. And it was a house from the 1800s, and it got torn down about a year or two before I had this conversation with him, or a few years before. But that place was known to be haunted. And I'm like, really? So I start doing some research, and I start looking that up. I'm doing all of it. I'm like, I'm looking at where his house is, where that is. I'm looking at potential ley lines, and I'm looking at all of this stuff. I'm really getting all the information that I can here, and seeing if there's any other places that are haunted or supposedly haunted, and how they line up on the map, and all of that stuff. But I start looking up the house, and I come across a website that was dedicated to that house. Apparently, a bunch of people, or this couple. Somebody walking though, yeah?
You want me to go over there?
Nah. I can hear stuff that's not the trees. Oh, interesting. So I look up the house, and I find their page, and their page is full of all of the evidence that they got. So I guess the family or the couple bought the house to make a bed and breakfast. And thank you for the stars, Cat. Oh, and thank you for the stars. Oh yeah, Janine. Okay, yeah, I think that was that. Is there lights behind me? There shouldn't be lights behind me. No. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Between pig ears and everything. No. And so they turned the house over because they were just going to abandon it, right? and they turned the house over to a team of paranormal investigators. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's cool. And they got to investigate that house for the better part of a decade, right? And they captured a little girl in the house. They captured, you know, I listened to all of the EVPs that they captured, read about the experiences they captured. Nowhere did it say of a 30-something-year-old woman. But I found out the people's names that did that, and I stalked them on Facebook, and I got a hold of one of them. I saw that she lived in Bellewaerde, you know, Wisconsin. And I asked her, "Hi, my name is Joe. Um, were you one of the people that used to investigate this house?" And she messages me back. She's like, "Yes, I was." She's like, "That was a while ago. How can I help you?" I'm like, you know, like, "Oh, well," I told her, "I have a friend that lives across the street and he's seen this woman. And, you know, I've read all throughout all your stuff and I've listened to it. And I understand you guys have had experiences with a little girl, but have you guys ever had an experience with an older woman? Like in her early 30s or so?" And she was like, "The one with the red hair?" And I'm like, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, I can't really talk about that." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "What can you tell me?" She's like, that she has black shoes and she has a like a scarlet or burgundy dress. And I'm like, I sent her the pictures my friend sent me a while back before that, and she's like, "Well, yeah, that's what she's wearing, all right." And she's like, "Well, after they tore the house down, I can't really talk much about it because after they tore the house down, she followed me, and I ended up having a brain aneurysm and a bunch of bad luck happened to me, and so I can't talk about it anymore. But you're thinking, whatever you're thinking it is, I know what you're thinking, and you're absolutely right. It's not good." And that was our conversation. And so I'm like, "Great. There's something there. There's something going on." I shared that with him as well. And when I shared that with him, very soon after that, he had another dream. But this dream was different than all the rest. Because I guess this woman was now exposed. She didn't come as the woman. He knew that it was the woman, but in his dream, she appeared as like this black blob, but the black blob would morph into the shape of a bad guy, like a bad guy from a movie. And then he would battle and battle and battle this bad guy from the movie, and then it would morph into another bad guy. After he slayed it, it would turn back into the big goop slime thing, kind of like the blob. That's what he told me. It was kind of like the blob, and then it would just turn into another bad guy. And he spent all night in his dreams fighting this thing and fighting this thing and fighting this thing, and it wouldn't die. And then at the end, out of nowhere, when he's exhausted already, even in his dreams, he was tired, he was slowing down. His brother came out of nowhere. His brother came down and had golden eyes and a sword. And he slashed at the blob, and it disintegrated into just dust, and it was gone. And then he woke up, and I'm over there, and I'm all smiles. I'm like, "Bruh, what's your brother's name?" Is it Michael? He's like, "No, it's not Michael." I'm like, "Oh man, it would have been so cool if it was Michael." I'm like, "Dude, that was Michael the Archangel." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, with the sword? Look him up. Look up pictures of him." He's like, "That was a sword." And like the golden eyes, that was Michael. Michael came down and took on the form of your brother in your dream and protected you and banished this thing. And there hasn't been anything happen to him since. And this was years ago. This was probably back in 2015 or 16, maybe 17. I'm not sure. No, I think 15 or 16. And so he called down. Yeah, he called for help, and help came. You know, that was an amazing story. I'm trying to think of other. I gotta learn not to smack at bugs that are crawling on me because it might be a bee. Um, yeah, but I'm hearing noises all around us. Let's see what. Oh, those are the frogs. See if I can turn you guys around. And turn this around. Just to show you guys I'm not sitting in my closet in the dark with Matt and Minsu. Yes, hit the like and subscribe button. I'm gonna take a little walk. Yeah, I got a light here if you need me to, okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I gotta fill something.
Okay, actually, then I'm gonna bring this light. Just because it's brighter. Got to acknowledge the kupuna, yeah? I'm at Judd Trail tonight. Buggy night, full moon tonight. Yep, it's full moon, super moon, hoku moon, hunter's moon. So aloha kupuna, aloha akua. Thank you for letting yourself known. Wow. How do you get to see the moon look? You know, I gotta say, the YouTube is so much better quality, man. Is it alright if I ask an off-topic question? Sure. Sure, Tunui, of course. So I heard footsteps walking around here. Like, yeah, like literally like walking here. And the trees up here kept creaking. Huh, fascinating. Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the stories. Probably gonna think of some more, but yeah, I got some more Michael stories, but that's gonna have to wait till later. Full moon, we're gonna kind of, yeah, double down on that. Double down on the Michael Angel tonight. Hopefully, it'll be carry on for the till the next full moon, huh? Let me take a little walk over here. If you guys like, you guys can make the tree make noise again. Yeah, Uncle Joe. Yeah, that's why I'm doing Facebook. I cannot forget the Facebook. So I just got another phone. Dark moon is when stuff happens. So yeah, the dark moon, the new moon in Hawaii is when the kahuna, the bad ones would send all their curses, yeah, because no cast shadow, yeah. If it casts shadow, then you risk the curse rebounding onto your shadow and back onto you. But with no more shadow, no need to worry about that. Bruh, I cannot believe I used to have one dinky light when I did the ghost tours down here. Like literally worse than this. What you guys seeing right now. But hey, Tunui, I'm waiting for your question, brother. Or sister. I'm not too sure. Ikalamai. Okay. I'm hearing a woman mumbling down here. Just watched your Night Marcher show from a few days back. Was wondering if it's possible for a Hawaiian local to spend their whole lives without hearing the Night Marcher poo or pahu sound. Okay, right on, bro. Yes. I'll tell you, bro. I do this so much. I go to places so much. I've probably been to Judd Trail well over 1,000 times by now at nighttime, and this is just in the last 15 years. Um, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've heard the drums. You know, it's like Night Marcher stories. I don't have many personal experiences with Night Marchers. Just like Menahuni. You know, I have a lot of personal experiences with other things and personal stories with other stuff, but not that. Thank you. You guys hearing this, huh? Maybe not the light, yeah. Yes, you were Desiree. Yeah, so, I've been here a lot, and look at the trees. My point is they're not moving. Now the wind is picking up a little bit. I'll look at the pictures later, Ulani. I saw that you sent me some. But, yeah. I'll give you my iPad number so you can send them to that next time. So I can look at that and still be live. Okay, the wind's picking up now. So if it's the wind blowing the tree, we should hear it loud too, yeah. So the tree's not moving, and it makes noise when the tree doesn't work. The Capena Falls still get by Big Rock, or at least up the stream. What you mean the Big Rock? You mean the one with the petroglyph on top? Okay. I'm not too sure. My brain tries to debunk. Maybe it's the wind blowing the branches together in a certain way, which they haven't done all month. But tonight, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I do know that earlier I was talking to them and they were responding. Or we were talking to them and they were responding to us. Oh yeah, you can still jump off the rock. I think. I've never done that before. I've heard enough stories about Capena Falls where I don't want to swim in that thing at all. Thank you very much. At Manoa, Obaki and I heard conch shell blow. It set off all the dogs barking, yep, through the valley. Oh, conch shell, I've heard a few times. At the Pali, we would hear the conch shell a lot.
So it's able to freely move without
And here's the crew over here tonight.
So, full moon is when you can see all the things that you can't see in the dark.
Ooh.
Exactly. Exactly.
I should do stories about Capena Falls.
Exactly.
So Capena Falls is a little bit of a hike if you go up the graveyard way. And they get homeless people there too, so I don't like have to deal with that too. You know, I've done a live there a couple times, actually more than once. I've done Calpe stories over there. I think it was last year I did Calpe stories over there by myself, right next to the petroglyph of the in Calpe's cave. Right, that was cool. But every time I go there, it's not the ghosts I'm scared about as much. But I still won't swim in that. I don't like to swim over here at Jackass Ginger too, because yeah, it just I cannot see the bottom or touch the bottom. I'd rather not. And hearing the drums up the pulley too, yeah. I haven't heard the drums very much at the pulley, or I don't really think at all. There was a night we thought we heard the drums, but was the fireworks in Waikiki. But yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Pilau over there, bro. You're right. Yeah, it is. It's like. I mean, like up here, like you get like Shaka and like that guy Donnie I just met tonight. He said he go come join us one night. Um, he's cool. People come up here to Judd. They come over here because they like to get away from everybody. You know what I mean? The people down over there, yeah. But yeah, we're gonna hang out for a little while longer, and then I'll be live again tomorrow. Tomorrow night we have a guest. Mr. Guy Belanta, who created Hawaiian Hauntings with me and Ivan, who has done many house blessings with me, has many of his own personal stories. I hope he'll share the one, hey, thank you Scott, thank you for the stars. I hope that guy will share the one about the Obake Neko tomorrow. But yeah, I'll leave it open if you guys have any questions or comments or anything at all, let me know. Or can message me too. If you guys like come out, feel free to come out. Except tomorrow night we're not going out. We're gonna be at Guy's apartment, chilling out over there. Friday, I'm hoping to do something good. A lot of night marchers pass through the hometown Kaha. Yeah. Yeah. Night marchers aren't really a problem, I don't think. I think that they present a problem, and this is just complete speculation, but I think they present a problem when they're fully manifested. That's when you see them, you hear them, you feel them, all of that stuff. When they're physically there, or it's like a ghost. The ghost can be all around us, but they're simply not manifested. They didn't drain enough energy. They're not there. There's not enough energy to manifest them, so we won't see them. We won't interact with them. We'll get little sounds and little tiny things happen here and there, but when they're fully manifested, then they can do a lot more, right? Yeah, it's like one plane or something. But yeah, anyway, guys, have a fantastic night. You like come out too. Yeah, have a good day tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Yeah, take care. Aloha.